Welcome to Live from Dennis's House. Today we are spotlighting Rust Never Sleeps by Neil Young, released July 2nd, 1979. Does everybody remember 1979?
I do.
As you all know, 1979 was the year of the Battle of Brookville Park. You guys remember that? As you all know, I grew up in Queens, New York, and I was a troubled teen, and we all used to hang out in Brookville Park. And this one particular night, there was the epic fight between Greg Maloney and Crazy Pete Viola, right? No. So it was just a regular fight until the event happened. That during the fight, Greg ripped Crazy Pete Viola's Neil Young shirt. And he went into the Hulk, the Tasmanian Devil, and he goes, "You ripped my Neil Young shirt!" And he went absolutely ballistic, and he just like a flurry of punches knocked Greg to the ground, and the final touch, while Greg's on his knees, Crazy Pete Viola kicked him in the face and knocked him unconscious. And there you have it.
He went berserker.
Yes,
Berserker.
Neil Young. Don't rip a man's Neil Young T-shirt.
Don't do it.
And it was
Lesson learned.
definitely 1979. It might have been the summer of 1979. It was right after this came out, and he had that picture, I think, from the album on the front, and you just don't do it.
Horrific. Should we write this down?
So now, July 2nd, we will be celebrating the Battle of Brookville Park. And you know what else happened in 1979? The number one song of 1979 was YMCA.
That makes sense.
Now, I've always found it ironic and hysterical that this song is played at every wedding, bar mitzvah, and basically it's a song about random anal sex.
Yeah.
And there's your grandmother dancing to it, and the little kids, and it's just that little known story is the original title was
Come on.
You can't even get it out.
It's fun to have gay anal sex. And you should have seen the hand signals they were doing for that one. But Don Kirshner made them cut it out and change the title so it was more user friendly. And yes, it turned out awesome.
Wow.
Yes.
So there you go. It's all in the title, as they say.
I hope you have a good editor. And they sing it to this day.
Yes. So should we do a rousing chorus of gay anal sex? Or... Steven, do you like gay anal sex? All right. We're getting out of control already. So, let's start the show off with a long-distance dedication to Crazy Pete Viola. Let's listen to some Neil Young, My, Hey, Hey, Out of the Blue. Awesome. So now, this is episode 2 of my documentary, Making of a Murderer Part 2, that I am going through a similar incident that I discussed it last week. Did anyone, Laura, have you seen that documentary yet?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Everyone's heard about it.
I know.
And it's about some dim-witted guy from Wisconsin who was railroaded, spent 18 years in jail for a crime he did not commit. They let him out after they had DNA evidence. Then they framed him for murder and put him back in jail. So the same thing happened to me. I got a parking ticket, and it was for parking in a yellow curb in the snow where there was no sign, right? So I went down to court. And they railroaded me, and they made me stand trial, and then the cop wasn't there, so they threw it out, so I got to go back next month.
No, don't say they threw it out.
They threw me out. And I was waving my pictures and everything, and it was just, just complete railroaded.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And then the next day, I noticed police were following me everywhere I went. So I was going to just pay the fine and forget about it, but now I am blowing the lid off of the justice system. Yeah, so now I want to talk a little about the justice system as well, because I believe, well, first of all, I'm okay with framing a guilty person for murder.
No.
I can see that.
No.
So you're against that?
Do not get me started. I'm very against it. We don't have enough time on the show for me to get started on that.
That if someone is charged with murder, I believe, they may not have committed that crime, but they definitely committed a crime sometime in their life. And they just caught up with you.
Sacco Vanzetti.
I'm going to go berserker on you. What's that, Crazy Pete?
I'm going to buy a dress for your
Crazy Pete
funeral.
Viola.
I was going to say, it was nice.
Go on.
Hold on. down. Settle down.
Rest in peace.
Rule number 3: don't talk when the host's talking. That because no innocent people have ever been arrested falsely, completely innocent. No one's been pulled out of their office and charged with murder. It's because you have misbehaved and you've gotten into the system and the police know about you and you've done something wrong. Just like making him a murderer. That's what happened. He was involved with the police. He wasn't just sitting there minding his business. He was involved. They all knew his name.
So you're comfortable saying that no human being in the history of the United States has been falsely accused of a crime with having no guilt of anything at all. You're safe in saying that. You know that for a fact.
I know that 100%.
You have reviewed every case in America.
Yes.
I was a public defender, and I'll tell you right now, you're my worst nightmare juror. Worst nightmare juror. I would kick you off of my jury.
Speaking of that, I got jury duty next month.
Oh, God. This is awesome. I'm alerting everyone.
Should I bring this up while they're interviewing
totally.
me?
Bring Nick with you and let him tape this.
I have a speech prepared, but I won't say it now.
Because I do have a case here that I cited. Roe versus Wade, where e pluribus unum clearly states, whatever. I played an attorney on Sabado Gigante for 2 seasons, so you can't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
Abogado.
Yeah.
You're an abogado.
Hey, welcome back. And now we're going to go to Cha-Cha, word on the street, gossip columnist to the stars. And what do you have for us today?
Well, I have Austin Lee Russell, also known as Chumley.
Ooh,
yes,
I know Chumley.
On the show from Pawn Stars. He was arrested on felony, weapon, and drug charges.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He must be guilty.
He was
He was arrested.
He was taken into police custody after officers searched his home in Southwest Las Vegas as part of a sexual assault investigation.
Oh, snap. See, he is so guilty.
Found methamphetamine, marijuana, and at least 1 gun.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that
Sounds
is
like a party.
Yeah. Saturday night at Steven's house.
He wasn't arrested on the sex crime allegation, but it prompted the investigation, which the complaint is ongoing. But when they went in, they found all this other stuff.
Wow,
so his bail is set at
always how it happens.
$62,000.
That's an odd number.
Yeah.
You think with all that, it
know.
should be much more. I heard that Rick, it was originally $150,000, but Rick got him down to $62,000. Watch that show. They talk
It's
about
not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
What's not going to happen?
$150,000.
So, you realize that with your accent, nobody knows if you're saying PAWN or PORN.
True.
I say both of those words.
What is the word?
Porn or porn?
You're the same.
I know. But
Everyone says that the same.
well, you're from New York as well. But
Yeah, I guess
people not from New York.
You know, the thing is that people make fun of me all day long.
And, well,
I
they
don't
should.
know why.
They're two different words.
Are you saying these words
Yes.
to me?
Yes.
The first word is porn, and the other one is porn. See the difference?
Not really. So it's porn or porn?
Yeah, that's much better. The craw? Not the craw, the craw.
The cross.
The picture.
All right. Too bad for Chumley. He's guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bam. Next case.
It's nice knowing.
All right.
Chum.
Now, let's see what's happening with Dee Dee. We haven't seen Dee Dee in 3.5 months now.
Well,
She's back from
came back
maternity
last
leave. Yes. We forgot about you.
My
So what's
baby's
going
getting
on?
big.
What's making the scene over there, Dee Dee?
Well, I don't remember half the stuff I do. But I think I remember something from February. That's why I was away.
Yeah.
I was in Rincon, Puerto Rico.
That's what I want to hear about.
That's what I want to hear
Puerto
about.
Rico.
All right, our buds from Guns for Hire, Gene and Sal, hosted a bunch of musicians and friends at a really cool place called Casa Verde in Rincon, Puerto Rico. That's the way you say it.
Yeah.
And they
that.
stayed there for like a week, and there were gigs every night. We played at the on the terrace at the bar from the hotel every night, and the place was packed every night. And we had guest people come up and sing. I got to sing with them and stuff.
Wow.
And we had about, I think it was 67 people in our group
From New Jersey.
from New Jersey.
Flew down there.
Wow.
It
Just for this.
was they organized all the vans and all the transportation to and from the airport, to and from all the places that we went to have lunch, to tour, to go to the beach. We played one happy hour gig at a place called the Lazy Parrot that was just up the hill from there. So it was a fantastic week, and I was very impressed that the shenanigans were all, contained.
No one ended up in the Mexican prison?
There was no Mexican prisons in Puerto Rico that I know of. But we only had we had one person that was asked to not stay at the hotel after the first night.
Oh, thrown out?
Other than that, but
what happened? What was the incident?
I don't even know.
Wow.
I don't
Parked by
know.
a yellow curb.
He got back in.
The next day. And then we had one, and I'm protecting the innocent. We had one guy who doesn't really drink, and he was there with his lady, and she said, you know what, one night, he goes, I want to go on a bender. Okay, great. I believe he almost choked on his own puke, and the security guard saved his life.
Wow.
And they had to hose the place down because there was puke everywhere. And he survived.
Wow.
He is alive and well. And, but that when you
and
don't
his
drink,
initials are.
when you don't drink, don't drink.
Yeah.
The food was good, the drinks were good, the music was fantastic, and hopefully we'll get to go back with even more people.
That sounds awesome. How would we like to do a on location live from Dennis's house from
baby.
Oh, man.
That'd be awesome.
That would be great.
What?
No one clapped. You're supposed to clap.
Oh.
I'm not allowed to clap.
So,
We can't clap.
that story reminds me of a time I
be
was in
arrested if I
Rincon,
do
Puerto
that.
Rico, and I choked on someone else's vomit. I don't know how that happened, but
Very
I love
spinal
that.
tapping of you.
I actually read about that.
so let's talk to Stephen Shecky-Bello and see what's going on in the crazy, wacky world over there in Staten Island, New York.
A piece of string walks into a bar.
You don't need to stand too mic close to
Sits
the mic.
up on
Sorry, go ahead.
the bar stool and says, let me get a beer, please. And the bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve strings in here. So he goes outside, he's all sad. He's sitting on the curb, and a guy comes by and, what's the matter, String? He's like, well, I wanted to get a beer, but this guy says they don't serve strings. So the guy says, you know what I'll do? I'll tie you into a knot. I'll fray your ends. He won't even recognize you. So he's like, okay, all right. So he ties him into a knot. He frays his end. The string hops in the bar, up on the bar stool, says, let me get a beer. And the guy says, aren't you that string who just came in here? He says, no, I'm afraid not. That's it.
Hey, welcome back to Live from Dennis's house. And now we're going to talk to Johnny Hathaway, and we're going to learn all about his life career and his new CD. Yeah. So, John, tell us about your band and why we're doing Neil Young today, and all of your bands.
Okay, well, there are two bands, actually. Yeah, there is the Decade Neil Young tribute.
Right.
Laura has performed with me with that already.
That's Laura's band, number 98.
Yes, it's hard to get her roped in. But the other project is relatively new. It's the original project, Johnny Hathaway Band. I've been recording a CD for the last 9 months.
Wow.
And it's actually being processed as we speak, I hope, because I sent everything, all the materials are in today, and hopefully I'll have a CD box mailed to me in a couple of weeks.
All right, awesome. Cool.
And the new band got formed really a couple of weeks ago when we had a gig with Gene Potts and Colossal Street Jam at the Saint about a week ago. Joey Hurt is my lead guitarist. And
hello, Joey.
Laura is also singing with us in the project.
Band number 99.
And we have Lou Perillo on bass, and we had John D'Angelo on drums for the gig.
Yep.
So cool.
Nice lineup.
Like the Billy Walton Band.
Nice
Yes.
lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a great lineup.
Now, where are we going to be able to get this CD?
You have to come to my house and give me $10. So,
All right, what's your address?
I'm sure you'll mail it if somebody really wants it.
yeah, if I have to mail it, it's $12. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather come to my house, or I'll just hand deliver it, whatever. But it's called Deep Cuts and Bruises. There are 14 tracks on the album, all written by me. I did play all the guitar parts, the bass parts, the vocals, and I did have some help from assorted guests, including Laura, who sang on Anchor, the song we recorded earlier tonight. And I had the drum tracks were added by my friend Ken Baczynski.
Wow. You're like Prince doing all this stuff by yourself.
Yes.
Did Lisa and Wendy play anything on this album?
No, but I did have Lisa and Wendy help
That's
me
right.
out on the song.
Okay, not Wendy and
From
Lisa, but Lisa and Wendy.
Lisa and Wendy acoustic
Yeah,
duo.
We know
Yes.
them.
They helped out too. So
See?
I don't-
You thought I was crazy when I said that.
you were close. Not the same Lisa and Wendy, but
Although they've been
close.
mistaken for the same Lisa and Wendy
They
more than
have.
once.
I think they're probably better anyway.
Yeah.
So
We've been talking about Lisa and Wendy, or Wendy and Lisa, the Prince's proteges. We've been talking about them because the last 2 albums we did, their fathers were session musicians and they played on both of those albums. And did you know that they knew each other since they were little kids, and they both came out and they've been dating?
No, I didn't.
Yes,
know that.
yeah.
See?
Yeah.
There you go. Things you learn on the
Dennis
show.
Broke that
we
story
broke that story.
last week, 2 weeks
All right,
ago.
sorry to interrupt, John. Stop interrupting John with your nonsense. Carol Ann, cha-cha. We're trying to do a show here. All right, sorry, John. So let's go back a little. How about talking about your life growing up and your influences and all that kind of stuff?
okay, well that would lead me to the Neil Young part, and I learned how to play guitar basically learning Neil's style, his techniques, his palm muting techniques on acoustic guitar. And he was the reason I learned how to play.
Hey, welcome back to Live from Dennis's House. Now we're going to talk a little about Neil Young. Anyone who wants to interject any Neil Young facts while I'm saying this, you feel free. And at the end, we'll ask for your favorite song. And if you get it wrong, we're throwing you out of here.
Like
So,
Monty Python.
If you get it wrong.
Johnny, do you know what Neil Young's middle name is?
Percival.
Yeah, that's not something you could guess either. That's either you know that or you don't.
Right.
So,
Mine was bad.
yeah, what's yours?
Providence.
Whoa! That's where you came up with that name
That's
from.
where you came
Oh. All right, that makes sense then.
It's horrible.
All right, so Neil
cute.
Neil Providence Young, born November 12th, 1945. Oh, I mean Percival. Did you know he's from Canada as well?
Yes. Yes.
Canadian
Everybody knows
singer,
that.
songwriter, and musician. Did you know he was a sickly child who suffered from one of the last bouts of polio? Joni Mitchell also had it at the same time.
Oh.
They're both
Also
from
from
Canada.
Canada.
Yes.
Ah.
Can you imagine that? How lucky we are that
Yeah.
we grew up in a time when there was
Yes.
really no threat of being drafted, no threat of polio, no
Right.
really deadly diseases besides choking on our own vomit.
Color forms.
Yeah.
And color forms, yes.
Coliforms.
We spoke last week about color forms, and Chacha admitted that she swallowed one as a child. And it was
still
made
in
in
there.
China, and it had lead paint all over it. So that explains a lot. So anyway,
Explains. No, never mind. We got it.
so after Neil's parents got divorced, after Neil's parents got divorced, he developed a love of music. And his favorite artist, Johnny, his favorite singer of all time.
John Lennon.
No, way before that, when he was a little kid. It was Elvis Presley. Yes.
The king.
So he was in bands all through high school, including a band called the Minor Birds, which had Rick James in it. The Rick James. Yes.
Wow.
And they actually got signed to Motown Records. But here's the rub, if you will. Say, oh, I will. That Rick James, the reason he was in Canada in the first place, because he was a draft dodger. So when they went back to Detroit to go to Motown, it was a disaster. The manager OD'd and died, and Rick James got arrested for draft dodging. So that was the end of that band.
Wow.
And Neil Young went back to Canada, but when he was in these bands, he once ran into Stephen Stills, just like the way John and Joe ran into each other. Johnny and Joey, I should say.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that he said he would look him up sometime. So Neil Young got in his van with some other guy, and they drove to California, and had no idea where to find him. And bam, they're on Sunset Strip, and there's Stephen Stills driving the opposite
Isn't that a
direction.
great story? I
Yes,
love that story.
I love
do know
that.
that one.
Awesome.
So, and they said, all right, hey, let's form a band. They formed Buffalo Springfield.
Yep.
They had huge hits. They were an awesome band.
Yeah.
But Neil Young is one of those characters. He's like Eric Clapton and David Bowie, that he's brilliant, so brilliant, that he gets tired of things quickly. That, who would think you're in a number one band like Buffalo Springfield in the 60s, and you say, I'm done with this. I'm tired of this. So, he went solo. He put out a solo album, and then Stephen Stills came back to him in '69 and said, "You want to join my band, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young," which he did, and it was hugely popular. I'm sure if you've heard of them or not.
I did.
So it's an awesome album, and I love it. This reminds me of a lot of things. Actually, I have another story about Neil Young.
What?
See, one time, back in 1979, probably, I was cutting school, and we are back in this park again, right? So it was freezing cold out in the wintertime, and we were trying to stay warm, and we were carrying on, probably drinking involved.
I was
Yeah.
going to say. I know what you
Don't say that in front of
I know
Nick,
what you were doing.
but there was probably drinking and other things. But
I
anyway,
wasn't there.
Not you.
no, there was, we set a fire to keep warm, right?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And,
You know.
and to get, like, my back of my legs were freezing and stuff, so I turned around and I put my legs close to the fire, and what happened? My pants caught on fire.
Nice.
So, needless to say, I had to go home. I should have been at school, and I went home, and I had to explain why my pants were burnt, and I smelled like smoke, and I was drunk. I said it was a rough day.
Did your mom call you a
Horrible chemistry
Did
experiment.
your mom call you a liar?
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't even get in trouble that day because I came right in and went shoot right into my room, and she didn't see me. And I put my pants in my brother's drawer, and he got blamed for it.
I wish he had a beauty
Awesome.
quality. Oh my God.
I don't know, but anyway. So
He's a car
Poor
enthusiast too,
mother.
right? There's lots of things about Neil.
yes,
that are-
yes. Tell
right?
everything you want to know about, because I'm not even going to talk about his '80s career with that album Trans. John, are you a fan of that album?
No.
Yeah, nobody is. He lost his mind during the early '80s and stuff, and he put out craziness. But he came back in the late '80s with "Rockin' in the Free World." Hey, welcome back. Now it is time to smell the album.
Yay! Oh, we did.
Best time of the year.
Smell the
Now,
gold.
as we smell the album,
I love this part.
we're gonna say our favorite song. After the Gold Rush.
That's a good one.
Now we're gonna do the news. Ooh, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Now
knew I loved that.
I'm gonna try to do the
Oh,
news,
man.
but what was that?
Old man.
Oh, very good.
Oh, that's good.
That's
Oh yeah.
good
I
song.
have to be careful with my microphone though.
Yeah, she's got
Ow.
3 arms going over there.
Needle and the
The album
damage
does
done.
smell like an old man.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I stole it.
Taking all the good ones.
You can
You can take
duplicate.
it.
Yeah, you don't have to be unique. So,
Winter long.
Ooh,
Nice. This morning I had splinter finger, but tonight I'm going to say powder finger.
oh, I love that. That's off of this
good.
album.
You
That's
do
my
that so
favorite.
well.
Yeah, let's sing that right now.
Ooh, that's
I
good.
need the words though.
Mine-
Look out, mama, there's a wave coming on the river.
Close enough.
That was my version. My imitation of Neil Young.
You
How's that
sound just like him.
Wonderful.
All right, so now I need complete silence because I am a serious journalist, as you all know. Scoop Morgello with all the news that's not fit to print. And the first story. Last week was International Women's Week. Remember that? Is it Women's Week or Women's Week?
Women.
Or women or woman? Just single or
Women?
plural? All right.
all of us?
International Women's Week.
I thought we had
And
the whole month.
we had a panel here going last week, and I was all sensitive, and we talked about all women issues. And that's when Dee Dee
That was
said,
a different show.
Dee Dee said, I am the new Phil Donahue. So, in keeping with that, we're going to do 2 news stories today because they're both international women's stories. So, the first story, in a gasp-worthy, oh no he didn't story, an unnamed 47-year-old Italian man filed an actual lawsuit against his 40-year-old wife for not cooking and cleaning enough for him over the past 2 years. Technically, the accusation against her is mistreatment of family, and a judge in Sonnino, Italy, agreed to hear the case, which could send the wife to jail for up to 6 years if convicted. Now that's one spicy meatball. The man claims he's feeling insulted by his wife's failure to always cook all the produce he brings home, and is also forced to live in unhygienic conditions. What's more, she routinely kicks him out of their shared marital bed.
Well,
Very
that's
shocking,
the real issue
right?
there. Now I know why. You
Yes, he wouldn't care about the cleaning.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So there you have it. A woman could go to prison for years for failing to meet her husband's expectations of a wife's duties. Now, I hope there's a lesson for all you women here.
Can't even.
And
Stay single.
America, honey.
yes, so
I know the
now
lesson.
this brings me right
what they call the
into
old country.
my next story, which is related. This is the turn of events that A wife rips off husband's testicles after he refuses to help with the housework.
I read that.
Ionel Popa, 39, from Romania, was rushed to the emergency room with his scrotum torn open after the wife had grabbed his testicles and yanked hard to punish him. Afterwards, she remained unrepentant, saying that she obviously did not know her own strength and that he deserved what had happened to him.
Oh my God.
The paramedics said the man had a severe open wound on the scrotum. He told us his wife had attacked him because he did not give her flowers for International Women's Day.
I think you might have added that one.
The man's left testicle was hanging out of his scrotum.
No, stop!
After the skin was ripped apart. After being transported to hospital, he had to undergo emergency surgery to repair the damage.
You are killing me.
His wife said she was fed up with being ignored by her husband. She said he had been given a bottle of wine for a day's work instead of getting paid, and he had arrived home drunk, and his pants were burnt and smelled like fire. When he gets drunk, he changes. All night he made me keep the fire on because he was cold. And I did it to avoid having an argument. In the morning, she opened the curtains and told him to go out and do some work, or at least help with the housework chores here. But he shouted, "I'm not entitled to give him orders." So she said she told him he was not any kind of man, and I grabbed his balls. It was not my fault that he pulled away, and that's when it happened. I thought maybe that some ice would solve the problem, but he insisted on calling an ambulance. He was pretty annoyed.
This is all made up.
No, it's not. Serious journalist, I will not make up a story. I am not.
I didn't say you made
Some
it.
ice.
Oh, well. The couple have been together for 15 years and have a 15-year-old son. The guy remains in the hospital, recovering from his wounds in stable condition, and police investigate the issue. So, now...
I think the woman from Romania needs to talk to the woman from Italy.
Right, yeah.
She used to be like, sister? Sister?
what
In
you need to
Romania,
do.
this is what we do when our mans get up and eat.
So now, what would you rather have, Stephen? Would you rather have jail or your junk ripped off?
Jail.
Or your junk ripped off in
I
jail?
was gonna say, there's no guarantee.
Sometimes both happens when you're there.
Yeah, speaking of that, Jared from Subway was attacked the other day
Yes.
and beaten, yes.
Oh,
So,
He finally had his first threesome.
Oh, no! You've been waiting for that one.
Hey, that reminds me of a story. Back in 1979, it was early in my career, and I went to this party at Ernest Borgnine's house, and I went into one of the bedrooms looking for a bathroom, and I opened the door, and there was Ed Asner, Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley, and Jane Fonda involved in a threesome. I still haven't gotten over that.
Did not.
That is remarkable.
So, let's wrap this show up
So
now.
close.
John, you got anything else to
Almost
say?
made it. Almost made it.
John and Joe, you got any gigs coming up you want to plug or anything?
We have a gig at the Saint on May 27th. We'll be returning.
Very cool.
Is that the Johnny Hathaway Band or the
Johnny
Decade
Hathaway,
Band?
Johnny
Okay,
Hathaway
cool.
Band. We will hopefully have Strawberry Pie along for
I
that.
have to check our availability.
And we're looking into having some other bands come along and play with us.
Nice, and
that
you'll
night,
have the
too.
CDs available for purchase?
And the CDs will be available.
Okay, very good. Awesome. All right, so anybody else got anything they dying to say? Okay. Thanks for joining us here on Live from Dennis's House, only at 474 The Mix, where the music matters. See you next week. I'll be doing another album and behaving badly. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, DennisMorgillo.com. Watch me on the radio, all cable stations.